Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
I'm Joseph Cardinal, and you're watching Cheap Shot Entertainment.
This is awesome! Hello and welcome once again to Cheap Shot Entertainment. You are the Cheap Shot Nation, and I'm wearing an anonymous mask because my nephew Martin randomly gave it to me as I was walking into the wrestling show that we went to yesterday. It was Aspire Wrestling Alliance. It was at the Sinfin Community Centre. It cost £5 and as usual it was a pretty decent show. The crowd was a bit weird for this one. Obviously the performers, the wrestlers, put everything they had into the show, although the atmosphere was a little bit weird yesterday. I think basically we'll put it down to tiredness of many people going shopping for Christmas and things like that. But I am here, Cheap Shot Entertainment. I'm your host, Luke. You are the Cheap Shot Nation, and we're going to get straight into the show today in an attempt to make things slightly different and a bit quicker to go through the entire show. So I'm going to remove this because I'm not even content that you can actually hear me when I speak, but obviously Anonymous was there, so was Azrael and Sergeant Rothrock, which we start the show. Azrael is going singles on this one. He doesn't have his tag team partner Striker. There is a rumour going round the Aspire Wrestling Alliance faithful that Azrael has now broken away from the Fallen. He's still part of the Fallen, but broken away in terms of going for his singles competitor status, as it were. Sorry, I thought my sound was down then. So yeah, Azrael is going against Sergeant Rothrock to kick this show off, and lovely back and forth between these two. They've got great chemistry in between those ropes. Obviously Rothrock with a lot of experience, Azrael coming in on the back of a few singles matches in which he's doing one against Paul Malin, which is right up there on my list of top matches that I've seen this year from Aspire Wrestling Alliance. But it would be shall we say, the rivalry that's built up between Rothrock and Jack Sparta that would cost Rothrock this match, as Azrael capitalises with a vicious code breaker to Sergeant Rothrock as Jack Sparta waves Sergeant Rothrock's faithful truncheon in front of him, saying, "This is mine, it's not yours, I'm Jack Sparta and I'm wicked," which he is. So yeah, it would be Azrael. The Fallen Angel hits the code breaker, puts away Sergeant Rothrock for the victory here, and he celebrates duly with his cloak and the mask, the hockey mask. Great reference there to Jason Voorhees. I really like the hockey mask. Didn't like it so much after it had been down the back of Sergeant Rothrock's pants. So hopefully Azrael did not put that straight back on his face. But if he did, yeah. Any victory on this one. Tis the Ministry of Mayhem next in tag team action for the Aspire Wrestling Alliance Tag Team Championships against the current champions, the Teenage Trailblazers, friends of the show. That is Jamie, Flash and Xander Palmer. The Teenage Trailblazers obviously picking up the Tag Team Championships last month in Allenton at St. Martin's Church. I want to say St. Martin's Church. Yeah, weird one, this one. Great match, really good match. Both teams have great chemistry together as tag teams, but also going against each other. But all of them have a sort of a lucha style, like a cruiserweight style, and I feel like the ring perhaps isn't big enough to hold that style in Aspire Wrestling Alliance, because they wanted to do lots of rope running, and obviously when the referee's in there and other four guys, it just didn't quite work completely, but it was still a really good match. I was still very much involved. I tend to lean more towards the Teenage Trailblazers than the Ministry of Mayhem, although I like all of these guys for different reasons. I tend to think of Jordan Lee and Lightning Lewis more as singles competitors than a tag team, but they do make a very formidable tag team, and they pushed the tag team champions all the way to their limits in this one, and it would be Xander Palmer who would pick up the victory in this one, as Jordan Lee goes for a roll up. Xander Palmer counters this roll-up into a sort of roll-up of his own, pins the shoulders of Jordan Lee to the mat for the 1, 2, 3, and your winners, and still Aspire Wrestling Tag Team Champions, the Teenage Trailblazers, Jamie Palmer, Jamie Flash, and Xander Palmer. Yeah, so brilliant match, really good. I really enjoyed this one. Again, crowd's a bit weird, but some places are like that. I'll say we'll put it down to tiredness. Well, there you go. So go into the next part of this match. It is John Allens and Bully Boy Carter coming down to the ring, beating up the tag team champions as Lightning Lewis and Jordan Lee leave the ring area. They would come back out to try and save their fallen brethren, who would then get beaten up themselves by the former tag team champions united in violence. So yeah, let's say Ministry of Mayhem try and make the save, but they get taken out as well, leaving the United in Violence fellas standing tall in the ring and calling out the tag team champions. Incidentally, during this match, Jamie did get a bloody nose. He is absolutely fine. We spoke to him after the show, and he's absolutely fine. So, yeah, brilliant. So, really good match. Always like a good tag team match. Always. So, we go on to the next match, which is Anonymous versus Jack Sparta. I'm not quite as good at the beatboxing as Jack Sparta is. I do feel like I'm the only one cheering him throughout his beatboxing, which is really good, by the way. And yeah, it would be Rothrock who would get the distraction, the revenge on Jack Sparta for this one. After a really good, quite even match, Jack Sparta showing all of his viciousness, so to speak, in this one. His bad boy nature, beating up Anonymous for a long time on this one. Obviously, Anonymous coming off the back of a huge feud with Rourke, which he came off on the losing end, but obviously been beaten up quite heavily by the big man, Rourke, who is also the holder of the guaranteed title shot briefcase. I don't know what the actual name of that is, but he comes out holding it. It's got a little Aspire logo on it, and it's really cool. But yeah, it would be a crucifix pin for the win for Anonymous, who picks up the victory. First one for a long time for Anonymous, so that is really cool. Really like Anonymous. He's doing the sort of Rey Mysterio thing at the moment. Seems to have turned a corner, gone slightly face, and he's now sort of like a face type vigilante like Sting, so to speak, which is a good comparison, because you know, who doesn't like Sting? I love Sting, he's brilliant. But yeah, it would be the crucifix pin for Anonymous, after the distraction from Sergeant Rothrock, who would go out and pick up his faithful truncheon from the ring, from the his baton from the side of the ring where Jack Sparta left it. Jack Sparta not very happy that he's taken his property back, and Anonymous would pick up the victory with the crucifix pin. Jack Sparta not very happy, runs out of the arena with throwing a bit of a temper tantrum, really, and telling the Aspire faithful that it's not a handbag, but it's a man bag. I'm not sure about that one, but your beatboxing is really, really cool. But Rothrock does cause the distraction, and Anonymous picks up the victory with this one. Interview next with Joseph Cardinal, coming off the back of Destined for Glory 3. DDA turned his back on his former partner and protege, beating up Joseph Cardinal. We weren't there, but we heard a lot about it. It sounded like a fantastic show. Gutted that we didn't get to go and see it, especially the 45-minute main event, in which Paul Malin picked up the Aspire Wrestling Alliance Championship after a year's feud with Ronan. But yeah, Classy Kyle comes out to the ring. How do you make a classy entrance? You do cartwheels, and that is what Classy Kyle does. He also is very good on the microphone, asking questions and getting the answers to those questions. Joseph Cardinal's not very happy about being beaten up by DDA. Who would be? But he then says, right, okay, I'm a bit mad. I want to take out my frustrations. I want a match. So he calls out someone. Anyone in the back wants to come out and have a match with Joseph Cardinal. This is the time to do it now. And who do we get? None other than Luna Rocks, one of my favourite female wrestlers in the entire UK at the moment. Absolutely fantastic. And a historical moment for Aspire Wrestling Alliance, as this is the first ever mixed gender match, singles match between the two. So yeah, Luna Rocks puts up a fantastic fight, beating up Joseph Cardinal from pillar to post, and as they say, as good old JR would say, with a bit of barbecue sauce on top of it, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Of course, Luna Rocks is a little bit frustrated herself. She was due to have a match potentially with Cherry Sky, wanted to beat up Cherry Sky. Cherry Sky's not there, so she took out her frustrations on Joseph Cardinal. But it would be Joseph Cardinal who would pick up the victory via pinfall. Unfortunately, I didn't see what happened in order for Joe to pick up the victory. I'm sure it was some kind of move, obviously, stating the obvious. That's me. But yeah, Joseph Cardinal would pick up the victory. After the match, it would be Joseph Cardinal picking up Luna Rocks, saying, you fought valiantly, you gave him one heck of a show, gave the people one heck of a show, gave him one heck of a match, and, you know, really flew the flag for the females, the ladies of Aspire Wrestling Alliance, a future that is very bright for the company in general. Lots and lots of young ladies coming through the ranks for us to enjoy later on, including my niece, TJ Cherry Bomb. I don't know if she's changed her name, but for now she's getting a mention on that, and as Simon Miller would say, that gets an up. So the Firm next. I like the Firm. I think they're really cool. Seen them in House of Pain Wrestling. It's good to see them over in Aspire Wrestling. I think they can bring a lot to the Aspire Wrestling tag team division. It is Stevie Mitchell, who the crowd like to call Peggy Mitchell. And I think, honestly, Stevie, listen to me now. This is a cheap shot thing. I think you need to start saying, when you have finished your matches and you've won and you're kicking your opponents out of the ring, get out of my ring, because that is funny. And Spike, of course, is his tag team partner. They're going against Charlie Maverick, Supersonic Charlie Maverick, and AJ Williams in a tag team action. Now AJ Williams would give a massive fight, so would Charlie as well. Again, friends of the show. Good to know that we can say that for some of the wrestlers. And they put up a good fight, but ultimately the size difference did come into effect for AJ and Charlie, and it would be the Firm who would dominate the match, distracting the referee, pulling their opponents down by their neck on the ropes, choking, all sorts of things going off here. Really getting to the Firm. The crowd were really getting to the Firm by chanting Peggy Mitchell. But it would be the Firm who would pick up the victory with a heart attack and a pin. Heart attack like move and a pin, not quite as elegant as Bret Hart, but it was very effective in the way it was delivered. And that is that. The Firm pick up a victory in Aspire Wrestling Alliance, and they go up, up and up in the tag team division. So yeah, really good match. I enjoyed this one, and this got the crowd going, which they hadn't been for a long time. We did try. But then that would lead us on to the main event, which is a rematch, a rematch. We'll call it a rematch of a match that happened a couple of months ago that I called my MVP match and said that Rourke, the big man, was my MVP of that show. We get Rourke Bam Bam Barton 2, and I was really looking forward to this match, and it did not disappoint for anyone who was taking it in, who was there. Yes, again, the crowd was a little bit dodgy, but that did not take away from the story that was being told in the ring. These two beat the snot out of each other, and it was very close to being another double count out, but it wasn't. Both men would get incredibly frustrated, not being able to put either or the other away, even hitting their biggest moves that they could even think of hitting, and it was always coming up as a 2. They got incredibly frustrated. It was Rourke that got frustrated first, pushing referee Kev out of the way, and Kev just sort of brushed it off and said, okay, this is the main event, I'm going to carry on anyway. It was Bam Bam Barton then that got frustrated with a near fall and pushed Kev away again, and then they would both start just beating the snot out of each other. They were rolling around in the ring, one on top of the other, bang, bang, bang. Kev just couldn't get them apart. They both pushed Kev out of the way, and Kevin, the referee, had no other choice but to disqualify both men and throw the match out. There was no way we were going to get a conclusion to this match in this encounter. So referee disqualifies both men and rules it a draw in that respect. But that's just what we got last time for the first one. So it's none other than Scarlett Page, the Aspire Wrestling Alliance general manager, comes out to the ring after the whole locker room had spilled out, pulling these two apart. Let them fight chant fell on deaf ears, obviously. They were still apart, they were giving each other sort of the evil eyes across the ring, and it was like, you know, like and then they started sort of verbally abusing each other as well. And you can feel the animosity between these two and the potential that this match could have had if there was some sort of hardcore ruling or something like that, an inferno match, as Martin would say. But obviously Aspire Wrestling Alliance don't have that much cash to, you know, set the ring on fire. So, sorry Martin, I don't think that's going to happen. But they do have the ability to make a last man standing match for the next show. Didn't quite hear whether there was going to be a last man standing match, but Scarlet Page would announce that Rourke versus Bam Bam Bon 3 would happen next month during Christmas Chaos, and I believe it is at the same venue at Sinfin. So bring your voices, people, because we are going to be there, and we're also going to St Martin's Church in Allenton. We're going to both Aspire shows in December for Christmas Chaos. Really good shows. Aspire Wrestling Alliance, £5 English, £8 for both shows. Absolutely brilliant. I love this company so much that I will quite happily pay into it, help them out in any way I can, and promote their shows. So that is on the 8th in St Martin's Church, and on the 15th, I want to say the 15th, in the Sinfin Community Centre. And that is everything that happened at Aspire Wrestling Alliance, the show that happened at the Sinfin Community Centre on the 17th of November 2019. Really good show, fantastic show, always is with Aspire Wrestling Alliance, and the chaos at the end was just brilliant. I loved it. I love things like this. Absolutely brilliant. And hopefully we'll get to see Paul Malin, the champ, the new champ, in action as well during that Christmas Chaos tour. Anyway, that is it for this review. That is everything that happened at Sinfin on the 17th. This is Cheap Shot Entertainment. You've been watching Cheap Shot Entertainment. You are the Cheap Shot Nation. So don't forget to click that subscribe button, like the video, hit the notification bell to know when we upload new content to the channel. Join us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram for updates and chaos and just all the stuff that we put up on the YouTube channel. And go to close to order. It is getting to that time. Get your orders in now for Christmas. We've got hoodies on there, we've got caps on there, we've got t-shirts. Choose your colours and help out the show financially with a little kickback from that. Once again, we thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.